In this video tutorial, we're going to look at some of the new features that Dreamweaver has included to help us design for mobile devices. And probably the biggest tool that they've included is a whole framework of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript called Bootstrap. And Bootstrap lets us design pages that are referred to often as responsive or responsive design pages that will adapt the content depending upon the device that is being used to view them. So just to sort of give you an introduction to this, it's really quite easy to use the built-in templates in Dreamweaver. We're going to create a new file by going to File, New, and instead of just choosing a blank HTML document, we're going to go to Starter Templates, and then we're going to choose Responsive Starters. And I'm going to go ahead and select the top sample page, About page, and click Create. And I'm going to save this as aboutme.html into the root folder and click Save. It also wants to save the following dependent files in my root folder, so it's going to save an additional cascading style sheet and also a couple of PNGs that are placeholders. So I say OK, click Copy. Those are in my root folder. And just one more thing I'm going to do is I also want to attach my style sheet that I've created for my site so that the rules that I want to use on my site, including the body background color and the A links, etc., those rules will be also inherited by this page as well. So to do that, I'm going to open up the CSS Designer and simply click on this plus sign next to Sources here and say Attach Existing CSS File. I'm going to browse for the desktop CSS, which is in my root folder here. Click on the desktop CSS, the one we've been using. Click Open, leave everything else the same. And I hope you saw it there, but the background color did change. So I know that the style sheet, my style sheet's been attached. And then really you can go ahead and just start using the template or not using it, however you want to do. It's very easy to figure out that this is placeholder text and placeholder objects here that you can just go ahead and put your information in. Really awesome web designer. That's fine. I'll leave it like that, or I'll just say I'll change mine to really a web designer. And you can replace your lorem ipsum here if you want. These are placeholders, so you can go ahead and I actually have created a 259 by 259 headshot in Photoshop prior to this tutorial. So I've gone ahead and done that, and a couple of images to put in here. And these are actually, if you click on these objects, you see down in the tagline down here that these are intended to be social network navigation buttons. So I've created a couple of 74 by 74 icons for Facebook and Twitter, and you can add more or remove them if you want. But to add the images in here, you just simply double click in there, locate the image, and my image is actually on the desktop. Here is Dave PNG, and I'm going to click Open. Yes, I do want to move it to the root folder, so I say yes, and I'm going to pop it in my images folder. Click Save. There's a file already in there called that, so I'm going to replace that. I just want to pop that in there. And then the same with my images that I've created, 74 by 74 Facebook icon, which I actually got from Facebook and just shrunk it down a little bit in Photoshop, so it's 74 by 74. So I double click on that, locate that icon on the desktop, Yes, and I'm going to copy it into the root folder also. I had one of those. And then I also have a Twitter icon here. So I'm going to open that up and move it to the root folder as well. And click save. And yes, it was already there as well. But now I can make these hot as well. If I just highlight this image, I can make the icon actually a link. And if I was really going to publish this for use, I would probably put my actual Facebook page here. But just for the moment, I'm just going to go facebook.com and the same for, and I'm going to hit return on that, and then the same for Twitter. I'm going to add a link to that as well. Twitter.com, hit return. So, and then you can continue on looking down here at the different parts that they have on this template page. There's the content holder here for your email, your website, phone, address. And then if you were working for a company, you could put your company info here and your position, etc. And there's even a couple of a few links they've created for a CV, a link to Behance, which is a portfolio site, and GitHub if you were sharing code. Any one of these you can change or get rid of it. I'm going to use this last one down here. I'm going to change it to home. So I've got a link back to my home page, and I'm going to highlight that and go down into the property inspector in the link area and replace the hashtag with HTML, index.html, which will take me back to my homepage. And of course, I could have used the point to file tool or the browse for file tool as well, but it's pretty easy to just type that in, hit return. And then the only other thing I might do here is actually change John Doe to my name. And change the email me, or actually turn this into a hyperlink as well. And I'm going to make that a hyperlink for my email address by typing in the link field mail to : and then my email address. You've seen this in a previous tutorial. Hit return, and you'll notice that that link took on the rule that we have prescribed in our style sheet for our hyperlinks, the style that we wanted for that. I might change up the copyrights to all rights reserved. So I could keep going on this, but I've got enough here that we can preview it in the browser and see what this responsive design does. So if we go and preview it, and I'm going to preview it in Google Chrome, and I click save. So now you see how these icons appear like this. If I collapse the page so that I am simulating the way it would appear on a tablet. So this is the desktop view. If I collapse it, now you see it in tablet view. So it automatically resizes and repositions the elements on the page. And then eventually, if you were viewing it on a smartphone, an iPhone or an Android phone or other type of smartphone, you would see it look like this. So it would rearrange the content to be viewable on your mobile device. So this is what responsive design is all about, is designing with mobile devices in mind. And if you want to know more about this, you can simply go to Bootstrap, or actually it's Get Bootstrap. .com, I'm pretty sure, is the link to the site. So here it is. This is Bootstrap's site. You can see it's actually standalone open source here. It's got a nice page where you can look at how the designing works, view the project, There is a collection of examples that you can see different themes and how the different elements are used. So for web designers, this is really a must to be familiar with the advantages of responsive design and the tools that are out there for working with responsive design. Just the last thing I want to do is to toggle back to Dreamweaver and open up my index page. Now that I have an About Me page, I can actually create that link to that page rather than having the null link down here. So I can get rid of my hashtag, and I'm just going to use the browse for file. Click on that, and I'm going to choose the About Me.html page. Click Open, and I'm going to save that. I also need to change the link if I've got it somewhere else. So I open up the Files panel, and I'm going to look for the gallery.html page. So I'm going to open up the gallery page, make sure I fix the link there as well to About Me.html, or I could have used the browse for file. I think that looks good. So I've fixed all of my links now and saved them. If I preview in the browser, I'm going to go back to Google Chrome again. So here's my gallery. Click Home, takes me home. Click About Me, and it takes me to my About Me page. And if I click Home from the About Me page, it takes me back here. And so all my links are working. And my site is now ready to be designed a little bit more or uploaded if I want to get it up to the server.